For 5 years, I uploaded videos almost nobody watched. At 15, Crohn's disease forced me to quit baseball. Years later, I was spending millions on a single video and becoming one of the most watched creators in the world. If you were getting only a few dozen views, would you keep going? Today, we're stepping into the life of MrBeast, Jimmy Donaldson. My name is Jimmy Donaldson. I was born in the United States in 1998. Around age 5, I moved with my mum to Greenville, North Carolina. My mom had served in the military. After my parents separated, she raised my older brother and me alone. Around 2008, my family lost almost everything in the financial crisis. Mom worked 2 jobs to keep us going. My brother and I often came home from school while she was still at work. At 11, I discovered Minecraft, Call of Duty, and YouTube. I realized a game wasn't something you could only play. You could record it, add your voice, and send it to strangers across the world. So I taught myself to record my screen. The early footage was blurry and the microphone picked up everything. Whenever gunfire started in the game, you could barely hear me. Hardly anyone stayed to watch. I still recorded another version, changed the title, and uploaded again. At 13, I started running my channel as MrBeast 6000. I had no idea what people wanted, so I tried everything. I made Minecraft and Call of Duty videos, estimated other YouTubers' earnings, reviewed terrible intros, and celebrated subscriber milestones. Even when a video got single-digit views or a few dozen, I kept changing the title and thumbnail. At school, YouTube was almost all I talked about. One older student asked if I could talk about anything else. I tried watching South Park because the other kids liked it. I wanted something to discuss with them, but I couldn't get into it. I only wanted to go home and make videos. Over time, I barely spoke at school. Some people called me mute. One teacher seriously asked if I could talk. The only other thing I cared about that much was baseball. Then, at 15, I was diagnosed with Crohn's disease. At its worst, I ran to the bathroom 8, 9, sometimes 10 times a day. My stomach constantly hurt, and my body struggled to absorb food. My weight fell from about 190 pounds to 139. The muscle disappeared fast, and I couldn't play baseball anymore. I put all those former training hours into YouTube. After high school, I enrolled at Pitt Community College. Mom wanted me to earn a degree and find a stable job, but I rarely went to class. Every morning, I thought about my next video. She soon found out. She told me that if I wouldn't take college seriously, I had to move out. I didn't go back to class. Before long, I dropped out and left home. I had already spent years on the channel, but it still couldn't support me. One upload might rise a little. The next would drop again. But I didn't stop. I searched for ideas by day, filmed at night, edited, then watched the page to see if the numbers moved. Around 19, I met a group of small creators online who were just as obsessed with YouTube. We talked on Skype every day and studied popular videos one by one. Someone replayed the first 10 seconds. Someone read the title aloud. Someone shrank the thumbnail to test it on a phone. Our longest call lasted more than 18 hours. The headphones pressed against my ears until they hurt. By late night, everybody sounded hoarse. Then daylight began appearing outside. We hung up and went to sleep. When we woke up, we continued the same discussion. At school, nobody knew what to say when I mentioned YouTube. Now I had people willing to replay one opening dozens of times with me. The breakthrough came in January 2017. I put a camera in front of me and decided to count from 1 to 100,000. At first, I sat straight and moved quickly. Hours later, it was dark. Only the lamp and camera remained on. My lips repeated the same motion. My throat dried out, and the chair made my legs numb. 10 hours, 20 hours, 30 hours. When I couldn't keep my eyes open, I leaned back briefly. Once I felt slightly awake, I said the next number. Outside, night turned into morning. The whole process took about 40 hours. By 100,000, my voice was nearly gone. The uploaded video was almost 24 hours long. For the first time, the views didn't stop at dozens or hundreds. Every refresh brought another row of comments. The subscriber count kept rising. After 5 years on YouTube, huge numbers of strangers could finally see me. I started making the challenges more extreme. I watched the same thing all day, trapped myself in strange places, and spent more than 10 hours filming tasks you could explain in one sentence. The videos brought more views and, finally, money. I didn't use it to improve my own life. If I made $100, I spent $100 on the next video. If I made $10,000, I tried to put all $10,000 on camera. In 2017, a brand paid me $10,000 for a sponsorship. I didn't buy equipment or keep part of it. I gave everything to a homeless man. He checked the money again and again, then hugged me. That video drew another wave of views, and more brands called. Sponsorship money became giant tips for servers, cash for families, cars, houses, and larger challenge prizes. Money from one video went straight into the next. Mum watched me spend everything repeatedly. She even hid some money as an emergency fund. When I found it, I wanted it back in the production budget. That same year, I gave her $100,000 to pay off the mortgage. The mom who once feared YouTube would leave me broke and made me move out when I quit school, eventually joined my company to watch the finances and contracts. Later, I stopped controlling my own bank account. Mom managed the company's main account. The videos grew too large for one person. Mom began helping with the company in 2017. My manager, Reed, once slept on a mattress in an empty room to keep up. Old friends and relatives joined too. Some carried equipment, some secured locations or calculated budgets, others stood beside me on camera. At first, the only sounds were my computer fan and my voice. Then we moved into an office, and later, a warehouse filled with radios, footsteps, and moving sets. In 2019, other creators and I launched Team Trees, raising money to plant tens of millions of trees. 2 years later, Team Seas raised money to remove trash from oceans and rivers. In 2021, we built a real-life Squid Game set. 456 contestants competed for $456,000. The video eventually approached 1 billion views. Challenges once seen by a handful of people had become shows recognized worldwide. In September 2022, the first physical MrBeast burger opened in New Jersey. People traveled from everywhere. The line wrapped around floor after floor of the mall. At school, talking about YouTube had made me seem strange. Now crowds held up phones, waiting for me to appear. That November, I passed PewDiePie as YouTube's most subscribed individual creator. The Feastables logo also appeared on Charlotte Hornets jerseys. My name had moved beyond video titles into malls, stores, and arenas. A video's cost rose from a few $dozen to tens of thousands, then hundreds of thousands, and eventually millions. More money made every mistake more expensive. If one part ran late, the location, equipment, and hundreds of workers all waited. Every extra filming day raised the cost. By around 2023, I filmed 20 to 25 days a month, often working 15 hours a day. Some videos lasting only around a dozen minutes came from as much as 12,000 hours of footage. On camera, I still shouted countdowns and pushed prize money toward contestants. Once the cameras stopped, another meeting, budget sheet, and shoot were waiting. In June 2024, my channel passed T-Series to become YouTube's most subscribed channel. The kid who once refreshed single-digit views had reached the front of the whole platform. That December, I pushed the scale further with Beast Games. 1,000 contestants competed for a $5 million top prize. More than 50 million people watched within its first 25 days. But I publicly admitted that making it cost me tens of millions of dollars. The views kept climbing while the budget slipped out of control, shoots ran longer, and the team became harder to manage. I handed more work to experienced managers. The company was too large for a few people to hold together by staying up all night. Crohn's disease didn't disappear as the channel grew. I still controlled my diet, received treatment, and gave most of each remaining day to work. Someone once asked if I was happy. I didn't give the answer that belongs at the end of a success story. I said that, so far, I'd had more unhappy times than happy ones. That interview came just after I finished wrapping Beast Games. I was exhausted and only wanted to sleep. The work didn't stop. In 2025, Mark Rober and I launched Team Water. Creators from 115 countries helped raise $40 million for WaterAid. This time, impact wasn't only about views, it was about whether people worldwide would act together. On the 12th of June 2026, my channel passed 500 million subscribers, becoming the first individual creator in YouTube history to do it.
500 million subscribers, 500 million. Confetti, woo, confetti. Yes, thank you team. 500 million, guys, this is freaking insane.
At 13, one of my videos might get only a few clicks. 14 years later, 500 million subscriptions became one number on a screen. Later on, someone asked me, "What do you do when the whole world tells you that you can't?"
There are so many different ways you can achieve what you want. You really got to push through no's, which not a lot of people do. You have to have like more of a dominant personality and just a willingness to, when people tell you it's not possible, just actually go through all the variables and eliminate them all yourself.